Hello and welcome to Colt Moylan, who is running for a seat on the Des Plaines City Council in the April 4th, 2023 consolidated election. Thank you for participating in this candidate interview. I will be asking a variety of questions which were developed in a collaboration between the Maine West Westerner student newspaper and Pi Sigma Pi Social Science Honor Society. You will have 2 minutes to share your answer to each one. When the 2 minutes have passed, I will ask that you only take a few seconds to finish your thoughts so that we can move to the next question. Let's now start with question 1. We would like to know, let's say you get elected. When your term is up, what are 3 specific improvements you will have helped to make in Des Plaines?
Sure. I want to say thank you, Caitlin, for having me real quick, and to the Maine Westerner to speak. I'm also a Maine West graduate, so this is pretty cool to be able to be interviewed by you. Currently going to school there, so
yeah, that's so exciting.
Pretty excited about that. Yeah. So to your question, I have had the pleasure of having the past 4 years to provide it to what improvements I have done. They kind of align with what I further focus to also continue to improve on. But what I can't talk about is what we have done. And, I believe it is our responsibility as an alderman and city official to the taxpayers to always look at how we can lessen the burden financially for our residents, but still provide a good service. So we were able to do this for our residents to continue, lessen the financial burden by not raising taxes year after year for the past 4 years. We were also able to eliminate city vehicle stickers, and I'm currently working on flood insurance relief for residents in the flood area. Another improvement I would also say is accessibility to city government. I believe it is important for residents to feel that their government is accessible and their voices are heard. Des Plaines now, over the past 4 years, I believe is very active in communicating with residents through all outlets, whether it be social media or their website. The mayor also does a Monday update with the mayor and a newsletter. I believe we have done a good job enhancing accessibility over these past years. Lastly, another improvement I would have to say would be public safety. Considering over the past 4 years we have dealt with a pandemic that affected our community's health and safety, I believe we as a community have come back stronger than ever from this, but we want to make sure that we're providing the necessary resources and support to continue that and keep our community safe.
Thank you for your reply. We will now turn to our second question. Again, you'll have 2 minutes to provide your answer. Our second question is, new building developments in Des Plaines have been a hot button issue of late. How do you plan to align building development with community development? How will you be sure that you are making choices that reflect what constituents want?
That's a great question, and it has been a hot topic as of late. When I first started as an alderman in 2019, there was a study that was put out from the city, an economic improvement study. And one area of that study that was shown for improvement was development, particularly transient-orientated development. And an example of that would be apartments, along the Northwest Metro line in our downtown area. The reason this type of development is good for our community is it brings in many new residents who are likely to shop in town and patronize our restaurants and our small business. It also cuts down on the use of vehicles, and the person that lives here is more likely to use public transportation or walk, which is good for the environment and helps relieve traffic congestion, which leads to also improving safety for residents. These also transient-oriented developments have shown also to lead to more equitable communities. And this is why I've personally voted for a new development apartment buildings downtown that recently just got approval.
Okay, thank you for your explanation. Please take the next 2 minutes to respond to our third question. For the third question, we'd like you to explain to voters, what is something you want to see added or changed in Des Plaines in order to provide recreational activities and promote local businesses?
That's a great question as well. I think it also kind of takes part from the last question. I'd like to see more dining and entertainment, and I believe the residents do too, from what I've been, communicated to. And I believe that also ties into, the transient oriented developments. We need more people that, these kind of developments would provide, to sustain, these restaurants and new businesses that come to our town. But we also have a council that recently approved the purchase of the Leela Performing Arts Building. So we're pretty excited about that. We hope to preserve the character of that building, but provide the community also with an entertainment or restaurant kind of venue. This along with next door, the theater, we feel will be a great enhancement to our community. So we're pretty excited about that.
Thank you for your answer. I would like for you to now consider our fourth question. The fourth question is, what specific means of communication will you use in order to regularly communicate with constituents? Will there be newsletters sent out, a dedicated Facebook page, regular ward meetings?
Yes, I do actively have a social media Facebook page. I have held a handful of board meetings, and recently we just had our first block party over the 4th of July parade that was open, invited all second ward residents.
Okay, thank you for your explanation. We will turn now to our final question of the day. Please share with voters your opinion in response to this question. How do you plan to promote inclusivity and diversity? How do you plan to seek out voices of all different backgrounds and experiences? How do you plan to represent them?
Great question. Excuse me. I think we as a council have shown to promote inclusiveness and diversity. And, a perfect example of that would be, recently when this newly elected council, along with the mayor, took a stance to right a wrong made by the previous councils not to fly the LGBTQ plus flag during Pride Month. So, making that, righting that wrong is important to me, and I believe a lot of the council members as well. So we're proud of that.
That concludes our interview questions. If voters would like more information about your platform and plans, what would be the best way to find out more details?
I have a email. You can get a hold of me, and it's friends of Colt Moylan @gmail.com. And I will be actively walking and talking with our neighbors and residents. And I plan to send out mailers with information to be able to get in contact with me if you'd like to have a conversation or any of that stuff. So
great. Thank you again for your participation in this interview and for your interest in serving our community.
Thank you, Caitlin.